Hey, how's it going, everyone? I'm Nathan from the ebook reader blog. For this video, I'm going to do a comparison review between the new Kindle Paperwhite for 2024, what Amazon refers to as a 12th gen model. It'll be on the left throughout this full review. You can see it says PW6 on the top left corner, and the Paperwhite 5 will be on the right throughout this full review. Amazon calls it the 11th gen model. Not a lot has changed with the new Paperwhite for 2024. It's got a slightly larger screen, 7 inches now instead of 6.8 inches. So the overall size is just slightly larger. Still has a warm front light like before. All the software features are the same as they were. So there's just a couple of minor differences between these two devices. The new one's a little bit faster. It's got a little bit better contrast with the screen. So we'll go ahead and talk about that some. As far as the overall design goes, they're pretty much carbon copies of each other. The new Paperwhite is slightly larger, just a few millimeters wider, a couple millimeters taller, slightly thinner. The corners are a little bit more rounded on the newer Paperwhite. As you can see, the display corners around it as well. They still got the same rubbery coating on the sides and the back, with the same design on the back. So they did introduce a couple of new colors for the Paperwhite 6 here. You got a green color and sort of a pink color, and then the Signature Edition adds sort of a metallic finish to those colors. All right, so let's talk about the screen difference now. So the biggest difference between these two devices is the newer Paperwhite has like better contrast. The blacks kind of have a deeper, darker color to them. As you can see here, like that black cover in the middle, it just has a darker quality to it. I remember when I first turned on the new Paperwhite 6, and I was looking at the home screen here, it just, the black colors just sort of pop more. It's kind of hard to see in videos. And I got these in direct sunlight, so it stands out a little bit more. But when you compare the black covers on the Paperwhite 6 on the left, they just have a darker quality to them. Let's load up the same comic on both of these. You can kind of see the difference here as well. Just, it's sort of subtle, but I mean, you can tell when you look back from one to the other, blacks are just darker on the Paperwhite 6. Just gives the screen a little bit better contrast, helps the dark colors stand out a little bit more through that flush front layer. So let's go ahead and load up the same book. I got the exact same font settings here, Bookerly font, one notch of boldness. So it's, like I said, it's really subtle and it's probably not going to show up in the video very well, but in person it is noticeable. The text, it just has a darker quality to it. And especially in lower lighting conditions, it's just sort of easier to read for me. I do like the contrast enhancement for sure. So using dark mode is another way to tell pretty easily. So it's just the darker quality of the screen on the Paperwhite 6 stands out. The text is just a little bit easier to read with the with the contrast enhancement. So that's really the biggest difference between these two Kindles. Just a slight boost in contrast with the newer screen technology on the Paperwhite 6. Might not be a big difference to you, but some people are big sticklers for contrast, and I can tell you I'm one of those people, and I really do appreciate the darker quality of the text, the darker quality of the blacks on the new Paperwhite. So another difference with this new model is it's a little bit faster than the Paperwhite 5. Just general navigation, it's just a hair faster. Things will load just a little bit faster. They advertised 25% faster page turns, and that was true at first when I first got the Paperwhite, and I compared it with the Paperwhite 5. But then they issued a software update for the Paperwhite 5, and now the page turns are pretty much exactly the same. But other things are a little bit faster, like going to the store, just general navigation, like loading up different menus, moving around different parts of the device, just a little bit faster on the new Kindle. And then like scrolling's just a little bit smoother as well. The transitions are just a little bit smoother. Like when you scroll through the list of books here, it's just kind of just a little bit smoother. It's not a huge difference by any means, but it is a little bit, the transitions are a little smoother, like when you're scrolling through your library and stuff like that. Definitely is nice to have any kind of speed boost when it comes to ink screens because they have that slower refresh. But for the most part, I mean, it's not a huge difference, but like just going to the settings menus and stuff, things do load just a hair faster when you tap on them on the Paperwhite 6. So kind of nice to have the speed boost, and not a big difference though. The same goes for when you're like inside a book and you're opening the About This Book menu, or you're selecting words to look up in the dictionary, or like to access Wikipedia, running searches, or just jumping through the table of contents just a hair faster on the new Paperwhite. There's not much difference there, but there is more of a difference like when you hold down on these words and just sort of pop up the dictionary or the Wikipedia entry, the X-ray in this case for a name. But yeah, just a little bit of a speed boost with the newer Paperwhite. And using the search interface is a little bit quicker as well. So if you're running searches, looking up words in your books, just the results, they pop up a little bit quicker, just a little bit easier to scroll through them. But, Just sort of depends on your personal preference if that makes a lot of a difference to you or not. To me, I like the contrast improvement more than the speed improvement, but it's nice to get both. But those are pretty much the two main differences. Here's a video of when I first got the new Paperwhite and I was comparing the page turn differences. Like the back speed was the same, but going forward was definitely faster on the new Paperwhite. But then, like I said, they issued the new software update for the Paperwhite 5, and now page turns are pretty much the same. So not really much of a difference there. One of the other big differences I noticed when I first got the Paperwhite 6 is the front light. It just has it had a very different color to it, and this kind of thing really doesn't show up on videos very well. So they look closer in the video. In the warm color is closer, but like the cool color on the Paperwhite 6, it definitely has a different color than on the Paperwhite 5. Now, I don't know if that's like a widespread thing because front lights always vary. You can have two of the exact same models and the front lights can be completely different colors, but the front light just sort of has a nicer quality to it on the newer one. I don't know, maybe it's just the luck of the draw, but it just kind of seems to have a clearer look to it, especially in lower lighting. But that's just kind of a result of the better contrast. I think the text just kind of stands out better in lower lighting. Like I said, this kind of thing doesn't really show up well in the video. The camera kind of adjusts for the light differences, and it's definitely more noticeable. The difference is more noticeable in person. So basically, that's been a look at the differences between the Paperwhite 6 and the Paperwhite 5. The new Paperwhite, the size difference is just enough that it will not fit in 11th gen covers. It's just a little bit too wide. I really tried forcing it into this cover, but it will not fit. So it does require new covers unless you had a loose fitting cover for the 11th gen Paperwhite. So all the main features and stuff like that are the same. It just comes down to a different screen, slightly different front light, and a little bit faster performance on the new Paperwhite. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. Check out the ebook reader blog and the ebook reader YouTube channel for more reviews. Thank you guys for watching.